In this video, we're going to go over the Sumo deadlift and everything you need to know from stance to how to pull and get that beautiful deadlift that you see on the internet and on social media. My name is Kyriakos and I'm the 5-time national champion in Cyprus in the 93 kilo class. And I also have deadlifted over 300 kilos in competition. And I'm also a strength blocks coach and I'm also a Viking. That's everything. So today we are going to go over the Sumo deadlift, how to Sumo deadlift efficiently and properly, because I see a lot of wrong Sumo deadlifts on the internet. And I'm very picky about Sumo because it's one of my favorite lifts. So let's get into it. So first things first, about the Sumo deadlift, a very common question is how wide should I stand for the Sumo deadlift? So you want to find a position. We're not talking about a frog stance deadlift or a super wide deadlift. You need to find a position where your feet are vertical when you're at the bottom position and you can see that you're building like a house when you are in this position. And you want to point your feet at the end of the plates. Usually, you can also turn them in a little bit, but I like to teach Sumo by finding a position where the shins are vertical and the feet are pointing at the end of the plates, and this way you have a good angle. What you don't want to do is to point your feet so much out, so externally rotate the feet so much that you don't have the balance anymore. Your base is very, very close under the bar and you can fall over very easily. So what you want to do, you want to first find your stance, point the feet at the end of the plates, and then the grip is very easy for the Sumo deadlift. You just want to point the arms straight down. This will be the most efficient position. You'll be able to get as much leg drive as possible and get as less range of motion as possible for the deadlift. And that's a good thing, because one of the benefits of Sumo is not only that you can use your legs, it's also that you have less range of motion. So set your feet in your preferred width. You come down and grab the bar with straight arms. And from there, you want to brace. You want to breathe into your belly. You can do that in a few ways. First way would be that you breathe in through the mouth. This helps you push the air more into your belly. You can breathe into the mouth, expand your belly, push your belly button forward and push out to the sides like this. Expand your belly and contract like you're about to take a punch. So if you want to use a belt for the deadlift, I would recommend it. It might help you out, get a little bit more tension, build a better brace, and lift more. So if you are wondering how to put on your belt, where you put your belt is mostly preference, but a good starting point would be that you put the middle of your belt above your belly button, so it's around the middle. Some people like to put it more near the ribs. Some people like to put it lower. But what you want to do is to put it as tight as possible so that you can brace and you can fit 2 fingers inside of it and it's snug, it doesn't move during your lifting, and you can brace effectively. You can push your belly out. You don't want to put the belt so tight that it's pulling your stomach in and you can't push your belly out and it's contracting you. This is too much. So you want to find the setting where the belt is snug, it doesn't move up and down during lifting, and you can push your belly out effectively. And now we're at the most important part of the Sumo deadlift, which is the wedge. For the conventional deadlift, you have the top setup and a bottom setup. For the Sumo deadlift, I don't really like a top setup. It's kind of weird to me and it's not beneficial to most people. So today I'm going to teach you how to do a bottom setup Sumo. So you want to set up your stance, arms straight down. You want to grab the bar and you want to make sure that you're not pulling with the biceps. You want to get into that good thoracic extension by pushing the chest out and depressing the scapula. You're going to imagine that you're pushing your triceps back and rotating them when you're getting into a position. So you grab the bar, chest out, rotate the elbows and depress your scaps. You don't want to retract your scapula and bring them up, because when you start the deadlift, you will be pulled into another position anyway. And this will also increase your range of motion, so you want to avoid that. And you also want to avoid pulling with your bicep. You want to have straight arms, get as little range of motion as possible. When you're at this position with the arms long and straight, with a good brace, and your chest extended, what you want to do is pull the slug. You want to first brace so you can transfer the tension from the feet to the upper body, and you want to slightly pull up the bar. Keep the chest out, elbows rotated, and then what you want to do is keep pressure on the outer side of your feet and the toes, and you want to open up the knees and bring the hips forward. A very common mistake for the sumo deadlift that I see is that athletes try to push their hips as low as possible to get into that position, but what you want to do is to get first get good mobility, of course. Not everyone will be able to do this, you have to work on it. What you want to do is to open up the knees and bring the hips forward, not down. So, as you are opening up the knees and bringing the hips forward, you want to rotate the elbows and bring the chest out, and you'll get into that nice position. And from there, you want to hold pressure on the outer part of your feet, on the toes, and you begin the lift by pushing out and in the direction your feet are pointing. You don't want to pull from the upper back. You don't want to, it's not a conventional deadlift, it's not an RDL. You don't want to pull with the upper back. You want to pull yourself to get into position. You want to wedge, get into position. And then from there, when everything is set and tight, you want to start the movement by pushing the feet out and in the direction your toes are pointing. You can think that you're trying to split the floor in the middle in half, and you'll feel it a lot in your adductors, your hamstrings, and your quads. Sometimes some athletes will do the mistake of pulling too much on their heels, and what you can do to fight this is maybe bring your shoulders slightly in the front and then get into that position so that when you are set, the scapula is over the bar. That's the position you want to be in. So midfoot under the bar, scapula over the bar, so you have good balance and you can start pulling straight up. So like I said, you want to learn how to wedge and bring your hips forward so that you don't drop your hips too low and lose tension from your posterior chain. You want to open up the knees, bring the hips forward, and get into that perfect hip height that you need for the sumo deadlift. Another thing you might want to do to get a good extension for the deadlift is to look forward. Try to think that you are trying to move your ears as far away from your traps as possible. So it would look something like this. It looks fucking stupid, I know, but it would look something like you are a turtle and you are trying to put your head out of the water, like, you know. So what you want to pay attention to when you pull into that position, ideally you want your shins to not be at an angle and you want them to be vertical to the floor, point up, don't point forward, because that way they'll get in the way of the bar. You want to rotate the knees out and have pressure on the outer parts of your feet so that the knees are out of the way and you are in a good position to push into the floor and come straight up instead of going in the front or in the back. So the difference of the sumo and the conventional deadlift is that the sumo deadlift should be much harder off the floor, and sometimes it feels that the bar won't even come off the floor, but as soon as the bar leaves the floor, you should be able to lock it out. And what you want to pay attention to is that you use your legs more than your back. You want to think that your upper back and brace are set into place, and then you are just lifting the weight mostly with your legs. So what you want to do is to extend your knees slightly earlier than your hips. In this way you can get them out of the way, and you can also put the leg drive efficiently and extend the hips later. What you don't want to do is to extend the knees and hips at the same time. This will get you into a weird deadlift position that you might not be able to even lock out. So think about locking your knees slightly earlier than your hips, not too early. Also, don't lock your hips and knees at the same time. So the sumo deadlift is a more technical lift than the conventional deadlift, and you will need to learn to be patient off the floor, because if you start wrong on the sumo deadlift, you won't be able to grind out your PR or your reps. It's not the same as a conventional deadlift where you can be a little bit more aggressive, maybe come out of position a little bit more. The sumo deadlift really needs patience off the floor, building up that tension, and when you have everything set, you can begin your reps with your legs. It's a really common mistake, especially for beginners, to get into a position very fast, not have patience, and then because that position is bad, maybe you're rounded over, maybe the bar is too far away from you, you won't be able to finish your reps, because if you start wrong, you won't be able to extend your hips, because your hips are in a very weird position for the sumo deadlift. So there are three types of grips. So For the sumo deadlift, I really like to use the hook grip because double overhand is a weak grip for deadlift and it will be your limiting factor. So hook grip is the next best thing because both hands are in double overhand, but you have the technique to hold on to any weight you want. And I like the hook grip because you are symmetrical and you can get into a better extension, use your legs a little bit more. To be honest, I don't really like the mixed grip. For many lifters, hook grip won't work because they might have pain or they can't tolerate it. If you don't know how to hook grip or if you want to hook grip without pain, you can check this tutorial right here. You can either use the mixed grip or the hook grip for the sumo deadlift. If you are doing mixed grip for the sumo deadlift, you might run the risk of doing the helicopter deadlift where the bar spins away from you on the one side. And I don't really like it for the sumo deadlift because your double overhand is in an exposed position because your arms are in front of you, they're not on the sides. So it's very easy that the bar drifts away and you might injure a bicep, maybe tear a bicep. So if you are lifting heavy, you want to avoid that. And I would advise you to learn how to hook grip and for your volume work or high rep work to use straps. But for some people, of course, it works with mixed grip. I've seen a lot of mixed grip sumo deadlifts and at a very high level. You just have to be careful. If your arms are long enough, you can use a mixed grip with no problems. But my advice would be to use hook grip and straps for the sumo deadlift. So this was a short tutorial on the sumo deadlift. I hope you enjoyed it. Sumo deadlift might take some more time to learn than the conventional deadlift because it's slightly different. Like I said, conventional deadlift is easier off the floor and harder on lockout. Sumo is harder off the floor and easier on lockout. So that's an indicator if you are doing it correctly or not. If you need more help with your deadlift, you can send me your videos on Instagram and I will help you out as much as I can. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe. It helps us out put up more videos and drop a like and I'll see you on the next one.